Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ingrid Gomez. I'm a community organizer and activist in Corona in Jackson Heights. I want to thank you all for coming today to Diversity Plaza. I have the pleasure of introducing Comptroller Scott Stringer, who is the first citywide elected official to endorse Tiffany Cabán. He is a loud, brave, progressive voice for working people. He was the first citywide elected official to stand up and endorse IDC challengers. And he always fights for our communities. Today, he is joining forces with Tiffany Cabán to transform our justice system. And we are so excited. Thank you so much. Please welcome Comptroller Scott Stringer.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming out today. It's really great to be here, and I want to start out by just reminding people that when you look at the criminal justice system through the lens of what actually happens within this system, you see two stories. And the first story is that for so long we have had the prison industrial complex build prisons in this city and upstate New York, not to reduce crime, but to basically create economic opportunity in upstate New York. That's the state assembly that I was in when the fight was about, can you get a prison in an upstate community? A lot of us believe that that wasn't right, that you shouldn't build a prison to create economic opportunity and take African American kids, Latino kids, young people, and ship them upstate to continue that madness. We all know that the prison industrial complex back then was a total and complete failure. But today, there's a new fight that has happened, and that is the prison industrial complex went private. And now we have a situation where the private prison industrial complex wants to grab our kids, whether by ICE or by other means, and ship our kids once again into the criminal justice system. What Tiffany Cabán is about is to have an intelligent conversation about the criminal justice system and the mass discrimination that's involved with this. She has talked in this campaign about what is the real future of our children and of our communities. And I have watched this campaign and watched how she has articulated the issues. She knows what her beliefs are. She believes that we can do better in transforming our communities. And that's why today I am so proud to endorse Tiffany Cabán for District Attorney. But I'm also here because I represent 5 boroughs and I represent Queens. And Tiffany Cabán understands that the best way to keep our community safe is to actually have discussions about decriminalization, de-incarceration, giving kids an opportunity. Not everyone starts the race in life on time and on schedule. And there are kids who need extra attention. And wouldn't it be great if we had a district attorney who understood that the ultimate goal is not to lock people up, but to keep kids out of harm's way and keep them away from the criminal justice system. This is the future that is being discussed around the country. And if we elect Tiffany Cabán, we're going to have a progressive district attorney who's going to lead that discussion all over the country. Think about what's at stake here. And at the same time, she's going to go into communities and talk about these jails that want to be built 30 stories high, where communities are now saying, what is this necessary? Why do we have to have a 30-story jail in a community? We can do better by decarcerating the system so that our kids stay away from the prisons and we really have new opportunity. So for me, this fight is a national fight. It's also a local fight. But Tiffany Cabán also is the best qualified. She's been in the system every day representing people. 1,000 cases. This is an experienced candidate for district attorney. And it's really great that the most progressive candidate is also the most qualified. Yeah. And I think that's very significant. The most progressive candidate is the most qualified. She will know how to run this office because she has seen the system full blast. And that, to me, is very significant. So I'm prepared to go out there and campaign and make sure that Tiffany wins this race. Many of us worked together last year when we wanted to change the state Senate and we wanted a more progressive government. and we came right to Diversity Plaza, and we said we can make a difference. Well, friends, I am challenging all of you, and you are challenging me, that this candidate for district attorney represents the aspirations of our children. My children, your children, and quite frankly, the children we're never going to meet or know, because these are the kids that are suffering within the court system and within the prison industrial complex. We can do better, and we can raise our voices for fundamental reform. So Tiffany, I'm in all the way. Let's get busy.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you everybody else who is here. I am Tiffany Cabán, and I am a career public defender running to be the next district attorney of Queens. I am so honored to stand beside Comptroller Stringer and receive his endorsement today. As folks here remember, and as has already been said, he was one of the first major elected officials to endorse the anti-IDC candidates, focusing on doing what's right over doing what's easy. Comptroller Stringer has worked on critical issues related to community stability, and his work has helped pave the way for much of what we are talking about in this campaign. This idea that stability equals public safety, and that we should be creating more equitable opportunities. He has written about the need to end cash bail, and we know that there is no justice when the rich and the poor experience two entirely different systems. His leadership led to New York City being the first pension city in the nation to divest from private prisons. And the comptroller was one of the first New York City elected officials to call for the elimination of commercial bail. And as a public defender, I can tell you that his leadership on these issues has been beyond critical. I've defended over 1,000 clients who couldn't afford to defend themselves, who were thrown on Rikers because they didn't have money for bail, because they jumped a turnstile, they struggled with mental health or substance use disorders, and every day in court affirm the fact that our criminal justice system is the single most powerful driver of the continued oppression and marginalization of our Black and brown, our low income, our immigrant, our LGBTQIA plus communities. And our DA's offices to this point have sold us a false promise of safety, built on a culture of convictions at all costs. And instead, what we need are public defenders' metrics for success. We need to decriminalize poverty, reduce recidivism, keep people rooted in their communities with access to services and supports, and apply the law fairly across racial and class lines. We're going to end cash bail. We're going to end the war on drugs. We're going to advocate for revenue from legalization to go directly back into impacted communities. And we are going to help facilitate stable communities and equal application of the law across racial and class lines. That is what Comptroller Stringer's focus has been. That is what my work has been about. And I am so proud to stand here alongside him as we work to bring people-powered transformative justice to our Queens District Attorney's Office on June 25th. So thank you. And thank you.
That is great.
Thank you.